Australia 2016, the first race of the season, and for Fernando Alonso it was a fresh start after a frustrating 2015 with McLaren. Esteban Gutierrez, meanwhile, was making his return to the grid with Haas and needed to make an impact, but on lap 17, Alonso made the move.
Gingerly indeed, we've got a safety car, and that's a...
Gutierrez braked slightly earlier than expected, sending Alonso's car into the air and into the barriers at over 300 kilometers an hour. The red flag was immediately deployed. Despite walking away, Alonso was ruled out of the following race due to rib fractures, but did let us know what it was like.
Happy to be here, it was quite a scary crash. The last point the car stopped and I had a little space to go out, and I said I will go out quickly because my mother will watch at home and I want to go out quickly.
I was relieved to see that Fernando was okay. We are both fine, but fortunately nothing happened.
The crash was a chilling reminder of F1's dangers, yet also a testament to the incredible safety advancements in modern racing. A driver used to flipping cars, albeit from the other way, is Lando Norris. 2021 Belgian Grand Prix. Relentless rain characteristically hammering the Spa circuit, so much so that multiple drivers voiced concerns over visibility and grip.
I love racing in the rain, and today was just hardcore conditions.
The difficulty is to start the race. With the spray, it's just not possible.
This has been Lando's weekend though, topping the timesheets in Q1 and Q2. Heading into Q3, he was the pole position favourite, but as he approached Eau Rouge and Radillon, the commentators noticed something.
Did that go round? Did the McLaren go round?
Yes, it did! Yes, it did! That's Lando Norris, as everybody in that McLaren garage looks at the screens.
Nos está costando... ¡Uy, va! ¡Qué leche! Nos está costando mucho.
The car snapped violently to the left in the rain and slammed into the barriers at around 280 kilometers an hour. The impact was brutal. Sebastian Vettel, who was one of the voices voicing their concerns, was the first at the scene.
And there is Sebastian Vettel in the Aston Martin, just making sure that he's okay. First driver on the scene. He too was worried about the conditions.
What the did I say? What did I say? Red flag? Yeah. Unnecessary. Is he okay?
Vettel was screaming at the FIA earlier that day to pause this race, as the track was basically a lake at this point. Seb was pissed. The track stopped as Lando hadn't said anything. Finally,
Lando is moving.
Lando, are you okay? Are you okay?
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
despite the wreck, Norris was fit enough to race the next day, even if race day itself was a complete disaster.
It is time to go back to the pit lane again because conditions haven't improved. Ladies and gentlemen, the race will not resume.
But a young George Russell, who was sat in P2 at the time of the cancellation, secured his first ever podium finish in F1.
The fizzy stuff gets sprayed. The racing didn't.
Monza, the home of speed. During the warm-up session on race day, Warwick's Lotus stalled in the pit exit, needing help from the marshals to get it back out to the grid. This would be the least of his problems this day, as heading down to Monza's high-speed first chicane.
And almost unbelievable. Oh my God. That is a Lola, that's all I can tell. No. It's Derek Warwick.
At those speeds, there was no time to react. His Lotus speared into the barriers at full force, smashing through them before bouncing back onto the track in pieces.
He must have crashed at around 150 miles per hour.
Debris scattered everywhere, yet this wasn't the craziest part of this crash.
And as you can see, my goodness, he's okay.
Like absolutely nothing happened. For the majority, after something this crazy, you'd take the day off to regather yourself. But not Warwick. This moment would go down in F1 folklore, as just minutes after one of the most horrifying crashes in Formula 1 to date, he was back in the Lotus garage. He wasn't done.
His first thought being to get into the spare car.
And incredibly, Warwick lined up for the restarted race as if nothing happened.
Are you ready to go racing again?
No problem.
Derek Warwick, both physically and mentally prepared to do this again.
Despite his heroic comeback, his race didn't last much longer. The second start saw him retire on lap 26 due to a gearbox failure. But his resilience had already made the headline for the wrong reasons. Silverstone. Hamilton was desperate to win his home race.
To raise the Union Jack. for the fans. It's like the most proud moment an athlete can have.
Especially after losing ground to Verstappen in the title fight. With Verstappen taking pole position, it's lights out.
And away we go. Once again, Max Verstappen gets a decent start. Not as good as yesterday. Hamilton is right with him. Leclerc is already ahead of Bottas. Verstappen's ahead of Lewis Hamilton. Going through the second turn. It's the Red Bull, but Hamilton's coming back.
Only 40 seconds into the race, with neither Hamilton or Verstappen giving up going into Copse corner.
Hamilton's going to try again, this time on the inside, a continent touch! Verstappen is out of the race, and that's a big crash into Copse! Hamilton continues on!
Hamilton got a strong slipstream and dives down the inside. Verstappen, refusing to yield, turned in, throwing the Red Bull flying into the barriers, hitting a terrifying 51G impact. Verstappen was taken to hospital for precautionary checks, but miraculously left unharmed. Meanwhile, that firestorm between Red Bull and Mercedes, now at an all-time high, was about to get cranked up even further.
Yeah, Michael, look, that's an enormous accident, and it was 100% Max's corner. Full blame lays on Hamilton.
Understood, Christian, that's why it's under investigation.
Regardless of the pleas from Red Bull, Hamilton was only slapped with a 10-second time penalty he had to serve in the pit lane. Coming out in fourth, Lewis had a mountain to climb.
Here goes Lewis Hamilton. This is where he tangled with Max Verstappen.
We invert the cars into turn 15 this lap.
Lewis Hamilton up in the second place in this race. Remember what happened at Copse on lap 1? Here goes Hamilton on lap 50. Oh! And he tries to get past Leclerc and goes off the track. Has Hamilton gone through? Yes, he has. He wins the British Grand Prix.
Red Bull were furious, but there was nothing they could do. Lewis came out on top in front of his home crowd. Against all the odds, the Brit pulled through in a race that'll be talked about for the...
Where do I start to tell you about the events leading up to this year's Brazilian Grand Prix?
Heading into the race, everyone knew the weather was bad. Interlagos had been battered by heavy rain all weekend, to the point where people were calling for it to be cancelled.
Was a dry line coming out?
For me, it was no dry line. Slipping and sliding all over the place.
The race is too unsafe to start, and we have been told that the start will be delayed.
The FIA had a chance to prevent the incoming disaster, but it was too late. As soon as the safety car came in on lap 8, the chaos slowly started to unfold, as one by one, the entire grid started to crash out.
A spinner here, one of the Minardis.
It's Wilson.
I beg your pardon. Spinner shunt for Olivier Panis in the Toyota.
Has he been hit from behind? Oh, that's Ralph Furman about to come in and whack the back of him. How did that happen? And I think it's a front suspension failure. But what's happened is his front, maybe he's tagged a car earlier in the race, but the front just giving away, breaking like an egg.
This was only the beginning. The biggest problem, a huge river of water had formed across the track at turn 3. This wasn't just a wet corner, it was effectively a trap.
Oh, big accident.
Montoya and Pitsonia. Here's what happened, Martin.
Yes, and got away from Pitsonia, aquaplaned, and I've got a feeling that Montoya's just going to have his own accident. No, he's already gone off. They both aquaplaned on the same... That's what I was just talking about in turn 3. And there's just new water coming from somewhere, Jane.
Must be coming out of some drainage hole or something somewhere.
We were only on lap 22 and 7 people had already crashed out. But with the weather not getting any better and tyres not sticking to the new asphalt that was laid down, the worst is yet to come.
I think they're about to get a bit more.
Shimmy off! Schumacher's off!
Michael Schumacher has crashed.
They need to get out of there ASAP because others can well go in there. Look, Michael, that's what I was telling you about. Safety car is out again.
Been a chaotic race, no question about it. Oh! That's Webber. He spun it. Same place as everyone else. Can he rescue? Yes, he can. He's slowing Rubens Barrichello. I don't believe it. He's retired here.
The hometown hero who was leading the race, Barrichello, was out. The current world champion Michael Schumacher was out. You'd think the FIA would cancel this race, but even after all this, the worst crashes were just about to start.
That in the pit straight. It is in the pit straight, and it will be an enormous accident there because that's something like 150 miles an hour. The back end of the Jaguars got away from him. Safety car out, of course.
There's nothing Mark Webber could do. Hydroplaning straight into the tyre wall. The issue now is because the crash was severe, it left debris scattered all over the track. And if you're an oncoming driver, coming into the lake that was turn 3, there would be nothing you could do.
We've got another car
Alonso,
on.
race stopped.
Red flag, race has stopped.
Not knowing the dangers that lay in front of him, Alonso fires full speed into the tyre of Mark Webber.
Concerned, this race is over.
Alonso didn't look good at the time. but miraculously he escaped with no major injuries. While all this was going on, the race leader, Fisichelle's car, wanted one last hurrah.
The car's on fire! The race-winning car in Parc Fermé has caught fire! If ever you wanted a bizarre day, this is surely it.
Well, he was the race leader. The FIA gave first place to Kimi Raikkonen, but after a further check, if we're talking shunts, we have to talk about that Zhou Guanyu crash.
And seeing him being trapped in that car, that's kind of like a driver's worst fear.
Silverstone, England, a massive race on the calendar, and Zhou Guanyu on his debut season was showing massive promise. From starting P9, this was his time to secure crucial points for Alfa Romeo.
It's lights out and away we go.
The race had barely started when... George Russell started slow out of the gate, but as he moved left to defend, Pierre Gasly found himself wedged between Russell and Zhou. Contact was inevitable.
I was rolled upside down. I kind of just closed the eyes, just waiting to stop.
Zhou's car flipped immediately before scraping along the tarmac by the car's halo before catching the gravel trap at an angle which fired him straight over the tyre wall. His car now wedged between the walls, Zhou still inside.
George Russell running over to see if he can help.
I just see this car just barrel rolling towards the barriers, well over 100 miles an hour. Ordinarily, you're so focused on yourself, you've just lost this race. But I was thinking, that's a huge crash.
Immediately red flagged, marshals and medical crews rushed to the scene. But with the car trapped, getting Zhou out could be disastrous if he had broken his neck. Zhou was conscious and shipped off to the hospital, where by a miracle he was perfectly fine, bar being shaken up.
Luckily, I was walking off after, I think, one of the biggest incidents in Formula 1.
Zhou's right. This is one of the biggest crashes in Formula 1. The Canadian Grand Prix is always dangerous, and in 2007, it was no exception. After a rough start to the season for Robert Kubica, he placed 6th, 4th and 5th in the last 3 races. So coming into Canada, it was only upwards from there. On lap 23, the safety car was already out.
Double yellow wave, so that's somebody off quite big time, I'd imagine. Oh, and that's why we've got Sutil having hit the wall hard at 4.
On one of the rare Canadian Grand Prix without rain, Adrian Sutil still managed to slide off into a wall, slowing the rest of the grid behind a safety car. 3 laps under the safety car, cooling down the tyres as they begin to lose grip, but by lap 26, they were off again.
And the race is back on.
But off camera...
Oh, he's got off and Kubica hits the wall!
As soon as he'd lost control, the trajectory of his car became terrifyingly clear, skipping across the grass at an estimated 300 kilometers per hour before slamming nose first into the concrete barrier at a staggering 75 Gs. The car had no chance.
Temperatures drop. Look at all the debris. That's Kubica's accident, as seen by Tonio Liuzzi. Debris everywhere, flying wheels.
Within seconds, the FIA medical team was there. Remarkably, Kubica was conscious and moving, only suffered a sprained ankle and a mild concussion. Given how insane this crash was,